something that Eric was just talking about in terms of providing these devices for take-home use for students and providing that level of equity. Chromebooks, actually, it's a little bit of a misnomer that they are only online devices. They can actually be used offline. They actually don't need the internet to function. They don't function wholly and completely. But much of, particularly in secondary use, a lot of the work that students will be doing with using Google Apps for education, they can be used offline. So there are ways to do that, and it's actually pretty simple. And that instruction in teaching students how to leverage that ability of the Chromebooks will be something that will be taught in classrooms and in media centers. And speaking of media centers, we actually have some of our media specialists here tonight as well, who play a very big role in helping staff in each individual building. Eric and I are actually, and one other of us, there are 3 of us, integration specialists in the district. And we each serve 9 buildings, and then we also work with all of the media specialists together in supporting these technology initiatives. And they also have technology parapros who assist in all of that as well. Not just teaching the kids how to use the devices or helping staff use the devices, but also working with things like internet safety and internet netiquette, as it's called. So we'll get into a little bit that later, and I think maybe you'll have some questions as far as internet safety goes. But just a few things about Chromebooks. A whole list of things. Why did we choose Chromebooks? I'm a former classroom teacher, and I actually used Chromebooks in my classroom. And all of these things hold true. They're very easy devices to use in the classroom. They're very reliable. They boot up in 8 seconds. If you have a desktop at home, maybe it's a few years old, you know how long it takes to boot up. Imagine a class that's only 50 minutes long, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, however long it takes, and that's real valuable lost instructional time. So those plans that teachers have for utilizing the Chromebooks becomes very important. Ease of use, the web-only applications. Again, some of those applications, more and more, if you go to the Chrome Web Store, you'll see that there are many that are actually available as offline applications also. So there's actually an entire page in the Chrome Store just of all offline apps. So these devices can be personalized, not necessarily, we don't want students putting stickers on them and decorating them in that way. But within the software, there's many ways to customize the software. And also particularly for students with special needs. Okay, there are ways to have a computer read to students who need that kind of access. Changing the size of the font, many options for customizing, and even just personalizing it. A special theme for your browser or your desktop background, all that kind of customization students like. They work with all of the peripherals that we're used to using with computers. Okay, so they work with everything in a plug-and-play manner. So there's not a lot of additional software or drivers for students to manage, and that's pretty key. We don't necessarily, we want students to focus on the learning aspect and less about how do I deal with the hardware issues. And same for staff as well. Wireless networking is actually very easy on the IT end. They're easier to manage. The amount of quality applications on the Chrome Web Store is astounding, and it's on par with the Apple App Store, which the district is also utilizing in K-5. So there's lots of free applications that can be used, of course, at a cost to schools and a cost to the community, which I think is really important to note. So still lots of multimedia capability. I know sometimes, when people don't know a lot about the Chromebooks and what they can actually do, there's some misnomers where they can't handle video, they can't handle certain things, and they can. Maybe not at this high professional level that somebody might be using in their career. Okay, we have a high school student here tonight doing some audio video work, and he needs certain software to leverage that kind of thing. But Chromebooks do certainly have those capabilities as well. Video conferencing, Google Hangouts, very cool stuff. So just a couple of short little tidbits on what's good about Chromebooks in education.
Introducing Chromebooks for Education, a simple way to bring the power of the web into the classroom, manage school-wide sets of hardware, and keep students focused. For instance, Chromebooks leave more time for teaching by booting up in just 8 seconds. That's less time than it takes to make a paper airplane. Even after entering sleep mode, they resume working immediately. And unlike most notebook computers, Chromebooks have a battery that lasts up to 8 hours. So even at the end of a long school day, they're still going strong. Built-in Wi-Fi and optional 3G allow Chromebooks to connect to the web anytime, anywhere. Chromebooks are also built around a web browser, which means everything is stored online. Students and teachers can simply log on to any machine to access their emails, documents, and personal settings, so there are no more excuses for missing or incomplete homework. Without the need for constant software updates and yearly re-imaging, Chromebooks make it easy to provide each student with their own computer. Schools can manage an entire fleet of Chromebooks with just a few clicks. Administrators can configure and manage computers and user accounts via a web-based console. They can also control which web apps and extensions users can add. Chromebooks stay up to date with the latest features and fixes, so IT managers can spend less time updating hardware and more time focusing on the important things. Integrated security provides multiple layers of protection that defends computers and the entire network from malware and viruses. The Chromebooks for Education program includes everything from the computers and operating system to updates, web-based management, and extended warranty and support from Google. At the end of the day, Chromebooks for Education enables schools to be more efficient in terms of classroom time, IT resources, and technology budgets, which ultimately leads to happier teachers, students, and parents. To find out more about getting Chromebooks for your school, visit google.com/Chromebook/education.
At any point, if you want to learn more about Google Apps for Education, we'll share some resources that we built within the school district, but a Google search of Google Apps for Education or Google in Education, that Google actually has a lot of resources out there. And we'll be using Google all the way down into the elementary schools as well, because Google integrates really nicely on iPads. So it's a good platform for us all, and even staff is now, we're switching over to Gmail and Google Calendar and everything. So kind of leaving those legacy Microsoft services that we've used for years.
And everything we've done today has been on a Chromebook and in Google Presentation, Google Moderator, Google Spreadsheet, where you signed in on. So we've been using Google all day today as well.
This is a laptop. This is a computer. This has the web. That's weird. Okay, so it's the web. There are no programs, so there's nothing to start up. Then how do I do stuff? There's no messy desktop, so no rolling hills of green. Can I use it anywhere? On a unicycle? My calendars, emails, documents. Everything can be saved to the web. That's crazy. So I could throw this thing into a river, and I won't lose my stuff? It doesn't need virus protection. What about annoying updates? Or patches? Or patches for the patches? So it gets better in real time. I wonder if people are ready for this. It's kind of a new thought.
Chromebook, I can actually access on any other device. So Google Drive is the main word processing suite, I guess you could call it. It does more than word processing. The presentation is built in Google Slides. If I started on my Chromebook, I could actually finish it on another computer somewhere else as long as I log into my Google services. So even though it's a one-to-one, and we hope that as many people as possible take advantage of those take-home possibilities with the one-to-one environment, we know that there will be people that will opt out and prefer to leave the device at home. The student, if that student has a Chrome or any kind of device at home, they can still access it, any kind of computer, even an iPad or an Android tablet. I can pull up Google Docs on my phone if I actually need to. Not the preferred workspace, right, on my little screen trying to get work done, but I have actually edited documents on the fly if I needed to on a phone before. So, yeah.
Does it work with student learning PDF? I don't use a Chromebook. I want to do it with the students.
So you can, so if you have a document that's in Microsoft Word, you can actually upload it to Google Drive, and you have to convert it. It will have to convert into Google format, their Google document format. And then you can edit it, and you could actually download it back into a Word format from Google, and then send it to somebody if you wanted to. That's a lot of steps. Ideally, you would want to just share that document. There's not, Google's really about being able to share documents. So the presentation, in fact, that you saw earlier before we started, there were about 4 or 5 of us on that presentation, just adding some last minute things, but we weren't all in the same place. In fact, Mark Salser, who just walked in, actually was on that document before he was here, adding some final touches. So it's kind of a powerful platform in that way that you can all work on the same document at the same time. With a basic Microsoft Word document, you wouldn't have that capability. But they do work together. You can, what's that?
And not PDF.
PDFs you can upload and convert. It will actually save the snapshot of the PDF, and it will pull the text out of it into a Google Doc, so you can edit the text. Now, it's not going to look beautiful like it is in a PDF format, but you will get it'll pull the text out of a PDF document. So it's possible. Yeah, they do play nice with other stuff. So so it's based on the Chrome operating system. So on the Chromebooks, it is completely Chrome environment, and mostly you just see the Chrome browser. And if you use an Internet Explorer or something like that, it's similar, but there are benefits to the Chrome browser because you can actually log into it. If you have a Chromebook, there are a bunch of other benefits to that. So this is just a few minutes on what Chrome OS is and how it's different than what we're used to using in the district.
So, you are on the internet using a web browser. You know, that thing with the address bar and back button and bookmarks. That thing you're in right now, up there. Yeah, that's your web browser. If you're like me, when you're on your computer, you spend something like, I don't know, 90% of your time on the internet in a browser. There's emails, chatting, you're reading news, watching videos, playing games, you're buying things, just to name a few. Which kind of makes the web browser the most important program on your computer. And if you think about it, it hasn't always been this way. You see, web browsers were first designed a long time ago with the old internet in mind. You know, back when it was slow and mainly just words with links that just send you to more words with links, back before all of these innovations. So some guys at Google asked, what if we redesigned the web browser from scratch with an eye towards the new web? You know, maps, video, and web apps that are a lot more dynamic. And so they created Chrome, a web browser that's crazy fast on today's internet. And it's sleek and more secure, but mostly it's really fast. I mean, my biggest question when I boot up my computer is how long till I get on the internet, right? I mean, if there isn't any internet, I might not even use my computer. Did you know that even the fastest computers will still take like 45 seconds to boot up? 45 seconds! You can make a sandwich in that time. So here's what's going on when your computer's booting up. There's this list of things to do, stuff I'm sure you don't care about, but it cranks through them one at a time. What you probably notice is that your programs begin loading up slowly, and if you're like me, as soon as you see your web browser icon appear, you're like double clicking it over and over and over. Let's go, buddy, I got some emails to read. Well, all of this stuff is called your operating system. And over time, it gets rusty, and your once fresh computer gets slow. Well, Google was like, wait a second, if your operating system's a hassle and all you're really using it for is to get on your web browser, to get online, then maybe we don't need this anymore. What if when you pressed on, you were on the internet in seconds? What if your browser was your operating system? And so check this out. This means that you don't have to deal with managing programs or nagging updates or lost files or confusing settings or blue screens of doom, and there's no nagging updates. Just your browser. Which means you can still listen to music, you can watch movies, interact with friends, you're creating documents, you're playing games, you're writing your emails, you're doing all of this stuff that you were already doing on the internet. But here's the thing, none of this is stored on your computer. What? None of it, you ask? Yeah, none of it. Really nothing? Yeah, nothing is stored on your computer. Well, where is it? It's on the internet. You know, like when you access your emails from your computer and your phone, the email, it isn't stored on either device. So if everything's stored on the internet, then your phone, your computer, all of these devices are what people call stateless, which is kind of a big word, so maybe just remember this. Chrome is a totally rethought web browser, and you can download it right now on your computer. But Chrome OS is a totally rethought computer that lets you stop worrying about your computer so you could focus on the internet. Which is what most of us use our computers for nowadays, anyways.
Good brief overview. And so that said that, the internet is the thing that students will be on, and internet safety becomes increasingly important. We've been teaching internet safety in schools for years now. And there is a curriculum that our media specialists have built, and we'll have, there's access to it online. So, and we'll share those resources with you also so you can see how that's being taught in schools. And we'll also share some internet safety resources from a website called Common Sense Media. It has a lot of tools for parents and families in terms of understanding maybe some of the conversations you might have with young people as they are on the internet. So.